Research Aptitude Class 3. In this chapter, we read about steps involved in research process. Various stages of a research. Whenever a scientific problem is to be solved, there are several important steps to follow. The problem must be stated clearly, including any simplifying assumptions. Then develop a mathematical statement of the problem. This process may involve the use of one or more mathematical procedures. Frequently, more advanced textbooks or review articles will be needed to learn about the techniques and procedures. These stages require three phases. Phase number 1, research problem identification. Phase number 2, planning for research study and instrument. Phase number 3, conducting research and research report. Then comes to the steps in research process. Formulating the research problem is the step 1. Step 2, developing the objectives or conceptualization a research design. Step 3, preparing the research design or constructing an instrument for data collection. Phase 4, selecting a sampling design. Step 5, writing a research proposal. Step 6, collecting the data. Step 7, analysis of data or processing and displaying data. Step 8, preparation of the report or presentation of results, formal write-ups of conclusions reached. These steps are described below. Various steps involved in the research process. Research process consists of a series of steps or actions required for effectively conducting research. The following are the steps that provide useful procedural guidelines regarding the conduct of research. Phase 1, research problem identification. In this phase 1, there step 1 comes under. Step 1 is formulate a research problem. The first step in research is formulating a research problem. At this step, your goal should be clear that what you intend to achieve out of research. It is the most crucial step in the research process. The main function is to decide what you want to find out about. The way you formulate a problem determines almost every step that follows. Then comes to the next phase, that is phase number 2, planning for research study and instrument. In this phase, there are step 2 coming. Conceptualizing a research design. Once the research problem is identified, the next step is to identify the knowledge gap, selection of appropriate methods, sampling strategy and time frame. A faulty design may lead to misleading findings, and therefore it's important to ensure that your selection of a research design permits the accurate prediction of outcome under the given set of limitations. While selecting a particular research design, you must have strong reasons and justification for your selection, and you should be aware of its strengths, weaknesses, and limitations. Then comes to the next step, that is step number 3, constructing an instrument for data collection. Construction of an instrument for research total depends upon how you are going to collect data and various methods around it. All that is needed is what sort of information is required for the qualitative and quantitative study. This first practical step in research study also requires some validation and reliability for research instrument you have constructed. Step number 4, selecting a sampling design. Sampling design selection is another crucial step in the research process. The research result will largely depend on the category of sampling design you have chosen for your research study. The three categories of sampling design: random or probability sampling design, non-random or non-probability sampling design, and mixed sampling design will affect your strategies, and you must be able to select most appropriate for your study by considering the strength and weakness of each along with their use case. Step number 5, that is writing a research proposal. Having done all the preparatory work, the next step is to put everything together in a way that provides adequate information about your research study for your research supervisor and others. Universities and other institutions may have different requirements regarding the style and content of a research proposal, but the majority of institutions would require most of what is set out here. This also varies within an institution, from disciplines to disciplines or from supervisor to supervisor. Therefore, it should contain the following information about your study: objectives of the study, list of hypotheses if you are testing any, study design you are proposing to use, the research instruments you are planning to use, information on sample size and sampling design, information on data processing procedures, the study problems and limitations, and the proposed time frame. Step number 6, collecting data. As a part of the research design, you decided upon the procedure you wanted to adopt to collect your data. In this phase, you actually collect the data using below techniques based on your selected sample and study design: interviews, questionnaires, focused group discussions, survey. Many methods could be used sometime together to gather the required information. Step number 7. Processing and displaying data. Processing of data you have collected through various methods requires different ways of analysis. Analysis will be quantitative for descriptive study. If you want quantitative analysis, it is also necessary to decide upon the type of analysis required, that is, frequency distribution, cross tabulations, or other statistical procedures such as regression analysis, factor analysis, and analysis of variance, and how it should be presented. Step number 8, writing a research report. Universities and other institutions may have different requirements regarding the style and content of a research proposal, but there are two broad categories of reports: quantitative and qualitative. Writing the report is the last and for many the most difficult step of the research process. This report information the world what you have done, what you have discovered, and what conclusion you have drawn from your findings. If you are clear about the whole process, your report should be written in an academic style and be divided into different chapters and selections based upon the main themes of your study. Thank you.